if I told you that every single moment you've spent running after a woman who never truly cared was a moment stolen directly from your life? That every restless night, every bit of energy you poured into someone who failed to recognize your worth was a debt you'll never recover. You've been conditioned to believe in love, in passion, in chasing something that was never really there. But what if, for just 1 second, you paused and saw it all for what it truly was? The emotional chaos, the confusion, the endless doubting. It was nothing more than a distraction, an illusion pulling you further from your real purpose. We become so entangled in the pursuit that we lose sight of one of life's most powerful truths. Your time is your most valuable asset. It's the one thing you can never reclaim. Yet how many men continue throwing away weeks, months, even years of their lives, chasing someone who will never reciprocate their energy? It's time to snap out of it. There's a lesson buried in the pain, if you're willing to face it. The Stoics understood this truth deeply. Marcus Aurelius himself once wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." So, if you were to leave this life right now, in this very moment, would you feel peace about how you've used your time? Or would you drown in regret over the hours, the energy, the heart you gave to someone who never saw your value? Too many men fall into that trap, clinging to the illusion that love and affection are things to chase, things to earn. But that's not love. That's need. And need is dangerous. The Stoics taught that true strength comes from within. It comes from knowing your value and never allowing anyone to make you question it. It comes from detaching, from letting go of the idea that the world owes you something, that someone else's attention is the key to your happiness. What if I told you that you could stop wasting your time on the wrong people, on the wrong pursuits, and start living with real purpose? What if you stopped looking for validation in others and began valuing your own time as the sacred resource it truly is? This, right here, is your moment. It's time to break free. 5 brutal truths that will strip away the illusions, the lies, the false beliefs, and guide you back to owning your life. These aren't lessons for the weak. They're not for men who want to stay stuck in cycles of doubt and pain. Watch this to the very end, because these lessons won't just shift your view of women, they'll transform how you see yourself. And when that shift happens, everything else begins to fall into place. If you're done wasting your time, done chasing things that were never meant for you, then hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Let's begin. Number 1. If she's not choosing you, then stop choosing her. You were never meant to be someone's backup plan. You weren't created to be an option. Yet here you are, draining yourself for a woman who barely notices your presence. You fight to earn her attention, beg for moments of her time, and shrink your essence in hopes that she'll finally see your worth. But she won't. A woman who genuinely values you will never make you question your place in her life. She won't hide you in the background, won't serve you excuses, and won't toss you scraps of affection just to keep you close. Love is not some riddle to unravel. A man with self-respect doesn't chase after shadows. A stoic man walks away from anything that undermines his dignity. He does not beg. He doesn't negotiate for a seat at someone else's table. He builds his own. And if she can't see the value of a man like him, he won't waste a single breath trying to convince her. Every second spent chasing someone who doesn't want you is a second stolen from your own greatness. You're not a beggar. You're not some stray waiting for validation. So stop knocking on doors that are closed when the whole world is wide open to you. Stop lighting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Walk away, not in anger, not in resentment, but with the calm, grounded power of a man who knows his worth. Number 2, attention is not affection. She laughs at your jokes, likes your posts, maybe even responds to your texts just enough to keep you hanging. And for a brief moment, it feels like something might be there. Like maybe she cares, like maybe you matter. But let's be honest, that's not love. That's not even interest. That's manipulation. A woman who truly wants you doesn't toy with your time. She won't breadcrumb you with vague responses while keeping you at arm's length. She won't toss you just enough attention to keep you orbiting while someone else sits at the center of her world. Yet too many men mistake attention for affection. They confuse a glance with loyalty, a laugh with emotional connection, a response with real effort. and that confusion costs them their dignity. The Stoics remind us, judge actions, not words, not emojis, not likes. If her actions don't match what she says, she isn't confused. She's using you for attention, for ego, for control. And the second you stop feeding that, she vanishes. A high-value man understands that love isn't a maze. It's simple, it's direct, it's unmistakable. If you're always deciphering mixed signals, you've already got your answer. There is no signal. You weren't born to be a side character in someone else's drama. You weren't made to be someone's backup plan. Walk away from confusion. Walk away from inconsistency. Walk away from anything that forces you to question your value, because a man who values himself doesn't chase illusions. He creates reality. Number 3. Lust can trap you in weakness. How many men have wrecked their lives over a woman they barely knew? How many kings have fallen, warriors broken, and empires destroyed because a man let his desires guide him? Lust is a drug, and most men are addicted, blindly walking toward their own downfall, mistaking hunger for love, addiction for meaning. They chase the thrill, the rush, the momentary high, only to wake up in chains. You think you're in control, but look again. Your urges are pulling the strings. You justify reckless decisions, you gamble your future, your reputation, your very soul. For what? A fleeting touch, a fantasy that fades the second it ends? The Stoics warned us, a man ruled by his urges isn't truly a man. He's a puppet, a slave, a fool trading destiny for a few seconds of pleasure. But the man who masters his desire, he is untouchable. He faces temptation and walks through it untouched. He doesn't bow to lust. He doesn't trade his vision for fleeting pleasure. He builds, he dominates, he rules because he first rules himself. Control your impulses or they will control you, because one weak moment can cost you years of progress. One reckless decision can destroy everything you've worked for. Be stronger than your cravings. Be wiser than your temptations. Walk away from what weakens you, because the man who owns himself owns everything. Number 4. She can leave at any moment, so build a life that stands without her. She once said she loved you. She whispered forever. She looked into your eyes and made you believe she'd never leave. But one day, she did. No warning, no explanation that made sense, just silence where there used to be warmth. And now, you're left standing in the rubble, trying to understand how someone who once called you her world could leave you like a stranger. But here's the cold truth. She could always leave. She just finally did. Too many men construct their entire identity around a woman. They make her their sun, their center, their entire purpose. They pour everything into the relationship, forgetting one harsh reality. If she's your foundation, then when she leaves, you collapse. And that's exactly what happens. Men spiral. They become shells of who they were because they built their world around someone who was never guaranteed to stay. A Stoic man doesn't fall for that trap. He builds his life on rock, not sand. His foundation is discipline, mission, purpose. He knows love should add to his life, not be his life. That a woman can be his partner, his companion, his deepest bond, but never his lifeline. Because if she is your entire world, then when she walks away, you're left with nothing. So be the kind of man who can love without losing himself, who can open his heart but never give up his spine. A man whose power comes from within, not from someone else's presence. Because the reality is brutal. Anyone can leave. But the man who builds himself into something unbreakable, he will always stand tall. Number 5. Your time is your power. Protect it relentlessly. How much of your life have you already given away? How many minutes, hours, and years have you tossed aside for someone who never respected your worth? Every time you overthink a text, every moment you wait for a call that never comes, every second spent begging for someone's attention when you should have been locked in on your goals, that's all time stolen. Stolen from your mission, from your growth, from the man you were meant to become. The Stoics, in all their wisdom, echoed one universal truth: memento mori. Remember, you will die. That's not some faraway thought. It's the reality that should drive every decision you make. Do you want to look back one day and see a life wasted? A mountain of time lost chasing someone who barely thought about you? The truth is simple. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. Time is limited. Your life is short. Every second wasted on distraction is a second you'll never reclaim. The clock won't stop. And Marcus Aurelius put it plainly: the universe is change, life is opinion. You get to choose how to use your time. You choose whether you let the world pull you off course, or whether you stay locked in on your mission. If you're wasting time, it's not because life is unfair. It's because you allowed distractions to rob you. A man with purpose doesn't chase. He attracts through his work, through his discipline, through his unwavering truth. A high-value man isn't defined by who wants him. He's defined by what he builds when no one's watching. He guards his time like it's sacred, because it is. So stop letting distractions drain your soul. Stop handing away your energy. If you're not ruthlessly protecting your time, you're not truly living with purpose. Guard it like it's your last breath, because one day it will be. Time doesn't wait, and if you waste it now, you'll face a deathbed full of regrets. Move with intent. Move with fire. Build the life you want through focus and grit. The right people, the right woman, they'll find you. Not because you chased them, but because you were too locked in chasing greatness. Memento mori. Live like every second is a gift, because it is. These aren't just lessons, they're sharp truths. Cold, unfiltered realities most men will never understand. They'll waste years, sometimes decades, chasing things that never fulfill them. Draining their energy, their time, their souls, for fleeting highs and empty promises. But you're not like most men. You don't have time to waste. You don't have the luxury of waiting for someone else to hand you the life you deserve. So stop waiting. Stop needing permission. Stop letting distractions rob your focus. Your time is running out with every excuse. Every second you spend on things that don't feed your purpose is a second lost forever. The right woman isn't your mission. Your grind is. Build yourself so solid that nothing shakes you. Be the man who doesn't need to chase because the world gravitates to him. Be the man whose presence speaks before he says a word. The man too focused on his purpose to entertain distractions. The man who loves with depth, but never with dependence. Build your kingdom, build your life, and then watch everything else fall perfectly into place. If this hit you, if you felt that punch in your gut and realized how much you've been wasting, let me know in the comments. Don't keep this to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to wake up, because there are men still out there, lost, waiting for a sign. This is their sign. Because the world does not wait for weak men. It doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't honor fear or hesitation. It only respects strength, discipline, purpose. So stop making excuses. Step into your power. Build the man you were meant to be. And take your place among those who shape the world. Only the strong, the focused, the unstoppable will rise. The rest, forgotten. Choose who you will become. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.